start sitting. And you can sit any way you like. I'm going to sit in Virasana on a block. I'll just show how that looks. So if you want to try it, you can pop something in between the feet and then come down. And sometimes that is a little squashy for the knees. So if you need to here, you can pull the calf flesh back and out away from behind the knees to give you a little extra space. So once you have your seat figured out, give yourself a little, just a little wobble, and see if you can feel the sitting bones under you. And try to land in such a place where you're evenly weighted between the two. Yeah, and then once you have that, let your eyes close, let your face relax, and create a little bit of a lift right from the base of the skull. Lift the back of the head, and let the lower jaw drop. And take a moment here just for yourself. Bless you. And check in with your breath. And that could be anything. You might notice movement. You might notice sound. You might notice the feel of the air against the end of your nose. Just pick one thing. And see if you can remain present with that one thing for the next 3 breath cycles. And that could be easier said than done. If your mind wanders off, just bring it back. And after you've completed your 3rd breath, let your chin bow down and you can blink your eyes open. We'll bring the head back to center. Interlace your fingers and press the palms of your hands forward. You can let the spine draw back, creating a little rounded shape. And then we'll bring the arms up overhead, elongate. Let's take a little side bend to the right. And up, and a little side bend to the left. And up, undo the hands. Give the wrists a few little circles to bring the arms down. Now, some of you are probably cross-legged in your seat. Just change so you have the other one in front. Usually feels a little funny. And then let's go again. Interlace your fingers. And then just change the way the interlace is. So you get a little time on the other side. Press the palms forward, round. And then up we come, lengthen. Let's go to the left side. And up and to the right side. And up and undo. Again, just little wrist circles to bring the arms down. Yeah, and then we'll do some work with the feet and the ankles. So let's change your seat so you can stretch the legs out in front. Do feel free to have any elevation under the pelvis if you need that. And now have a look at your feet and just pick a direction. We'll make some circles. And now this is a strange request. Keep going the same direction, but see if you can let it be more ankles and less toes. Just let the toes do nothing. Yeah. Good. And then let's go the other direction. Go ahead and start the way you normally would. So likely the toes are getting in on the action. Now let's keep going this direction and let it be less toes, more ankles. It's strange, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, and then just relax. Yeah. We'll do another one here. Let's draw the toes back, pull the toes towards you, so the feet are flexed, also known as dorsiflexion. And then let's press forward just the ball of the feet, like Barbie feet, and then put the toes forward, plantar flexion. Let's do that, just the toes, pull back, spread them out wide. And then pull back through the rest of the foot. Great. Do that a couple of times. And here we're just articulating through the ball of the foot, the toe hinge. Later when we do toe torture, we'll stretch that out a little bit. Yeah. And then go ahead and be done with that. Just relax. You can give the legs a little basana. Yeah. All right, friends. So let's turn over coming to all fours position, hands and knees. Do feel free if your floor is hard, you can put a extra padding under the knees. And then at first, just start to move around any way that you like. Circles, figure eights, cat, cow, child's pose. And then we'll start with some of our toe and foot stretches here. So let the movement start to settle down. Tuck your toes under and bring the hips back towards the heels. And then just give the mat a little push forward as the hips move back. And it might feel all right to scooch the knees back a little so the toes get tucked under more. And then one more time, press the mat down and forward with your hands. Let the hips shift back. If it feels acceptable to do a little shift right and left, side to side, you can add that in. Yeah. And then from here, let's come forward, untuck the toes. You can give them a little shake. And just take the right leg back, toes tucked under on that side, and give yourself a little back and forth to stretch out now more through the back of the knee and the calf. Let's go to side two. Yeah, and let's go to child's pose again, this time with the toes pointing just straight back, not tucked under. Same thing again with the hands though. Once you get there, try to push the mat forward with the hands to draw the hips back. If it feels all right to add in the side to side, that's an option here as well. And then walk the hands back to the knees. If coming up to sit on your feet in this sort of shape is a no-go for you, just stay down in child's pose. If you're okay here and you want more, you could walk the hands back and maybe that's enough. Maybe you let the knees lift up off the floor. We're only going to do the one. There's a couple different versions of this. Just the one though, wherever your feet land is fine. Yeah, and then come out of that. Take the arms forward. And very, very gently, we'll head into downward facing dog, just maybe one leg at a time. Yeah, friends. And then once you're here, it might feel nice just to move a little bit. You can pedal the legs. You can shift your hips. If you heard that crack, that was my, I think that was my hip. Yeah, no, it does that all the time. Alrighty. And then from here, let's make our way to the front of the mat, so feet to the hands. Any way you want to get there is fine. Then once you're in position, bend the knees and rest the arms on the legs, so you're in a squat kind of shape. Root down a little bit more in the feet and use the inhale to come all the way up. Lift the arms up overhead, straighten out the legs. And then release the arms. Just take a little shoulder rotation in and out a couple of times. Yeah. All right, and then we'll do a few more warm-ups for the feet and the ankles. Let's start here. Take your right foot a little forward and don't move the pelvis, but rotate the right leg so it turns in. Internal rotation, yeah. Bend both knees slightly, and then you'll rock towards the outer edge of the right foot and back to center. Doing that a couple of times, and this, when we go to the outer edge of the foot, that's called pronation. No, that's called supination, sorry. We'll do pronation later. Yeah. Okay, and that's side one. Come back to center and step left foot a little forward. Rotate the whole leg in, but not so much that the pelvis turns, just a little bit. Slight bend in both knees and then rock outer edge of the foot and center. supination. Now, especially if you've ever had an ankle or foot issue, these two sides might feel kind of different. Normal for that to be the case. And then we'll come back to center. And now let's separate the feet medium wide. Now you'll bend both knees again, and starting on the right foot, you'll rock to the inner edge of the foot and then center. Do that a couple of times. So this is the pronation. You rock to the inner foot. Now, if you feel any sort of tension or like pulling on the inner knee, do less. We don't want to wreak havoc on the knee here. All right, and then second side. You could do your best Elvis impersonation here. Yeah. Great, and then come center. Now the next bit here will be stretching through the top of the foot. I'm gonna have my back to you. Let's go so that you're on the right side is back and the toes are tucked under. And then naturally here, you might feel the ankle wanting to go out to the side. Go ahead and let that happen. Bend both knees and slowly shift the hips back and put a little more weight on the right side and back off. You'll do that a couple of times. I'm gonna face this way. Yeah. Now you wouldn't want to do this quickly or by accident. That wouldn't be safe for the ankle, but because we're going so slowly, you know, paying a lot of attention to what we do, it's okay. Now we're gonna, next time you come up, stay, and hug the ankle in towards the midline. And when you come down again, do that, you will get less contact between the top of the foot and the mat, especially if you're really tight in the ankles or even in the quads. It's that same line, that front line. A couple more on this side. Yeah. And then come up, gently undo, and then just move the foot a little bit. Yes, friends, side two. So left leg comes back. Have the toenails on the floor, top of the foot on the floor. At first, let the ankle bow out to the side. You'll bend the knees, let the hips shift back, and just gradually put more weight on the left side. And then come back up. A couple of those. You might notice here too, one side tighter than the other. And the next time you come up, let's hug the ankle in towards the midline and go same thing again. Yeah. Interesting, huh? All right, and then when you're done with that, undo, give the foot a little shake, give the toes a little wiggle. Yeah. All right, guys. You okay, Jill? That's the funny toe. You gotta be gentle with those broken toes. Yeah. All right, so let's, yeah. We'll move a little bit, kind of just clear our yoga palette. So come to the front of the mat. You can, you know, we won't need any props for a little bit. Root down through the feet. Use the inhale to lift. Arms come up overhead. Exhale, take it down, forward fold. Come up halfway, we'll lengthen. Let's come down, little bend in the knees, and come right up again. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, we fold. Uttanasana. Come up halfway, lengthen it out. On the way down, let's head back to plank pose and we'll stay. Of course, option, if plank is no good, you could be in all fours. If you're with me in plank, give a little shift forward and back on your feet. Actually, if you're in all fours, you can do this too. You just will be on the knees. And then those of you with straight legs, without looking at your feet, just try to sense the feet. And when it feels like the soles of the feet are straight up and down, pause there. Keep that just below the navel. Lift up a little bit more. And then from here, we'll lower all the way down to the belly. Make a little pillow for your forehead and you'll rest your head. I'm going to keep my head up though so I can talk to you. And then from this position, it's a little strange. Bend the knees. Tuck the toes under as best you can. You probably won't get to the pinky toe, but do the best you can. And then slowly press the heels back and let the knees lift up off the floor, legs activate. And now your toes press down into the floor and try to drag the toes back until they flip over and you're on the tops of the feet, and then relax. So we're gonna do that a few more times. So a little bend in the knees, tuck the toes under, and then press the heels back to straighten out the legs. Press the toes into the floor and try to drag the mat back with your toes until they flip over and down. Do one more time. Little bend in the knees, tuck the toes under, press back through the heels, the legs will lift. We'll stay here actually. Keep this, and then press down into the forearms, prop up just a little bit in the torso. And without going anywhere, try to drag the arms back, pull the chest forward, keep pressing the heels back so legs are really active. And then on the way down, you'll press the mat back with your toes, let the toes come undone. Bend both knees and give the legs a little windshield wiper side to side. Yeah. All right, so let's go back to downward facing dog. You can put the legs down and come on back. I think this is our first one, which is usually a little tight. If it feels better to move some, you can shift around a little bit. Yeah, now for this downward dog, let's separate your feet a little wider, bend the knees and walk your hands back. So we're going to the back of the mat. Once you arrive there, press firmly into the feet. Use the inhale to come all the way up, arms lift. And on the exhale, release the arms. Great. Staying at the back of the mat, just take a little hula hoop asana, moving the hips in a circle. And then we'll go the other way. Yeah. Okay. Now we'll take a little marching step to get to the front of the mat. So stand here at the back. Press the right foot firmly into the floor, bend the left knee, pick up the left leg, and let's take right arm forward, left arm back. Then when the foot steps down, left foot comes a little ahead, press the foot, lift the right knee, change your arms. And do that a couple of times. Exactly, like a toy soldier. Yeah. Okay, so once you get to the end of the mat, that's the end of the line, you'll put both feet down, but keep your feet a little bit apart. And then we'll bend the knees, bring the hips back, and come into Utkatasana. Have the hands in prayer for the moment. Let's lift up the toes, spread the toes out wide, and that'll shift your weight back. And then we'll put the toes down, come forward, lift the heels off the floor, and try to hug the ankles in towards the midline. Let's come down again, heels land, toes lift, spread them out, and then shift forward, heels lift, ankles hug in. One more time going back. One more time coming forward. We're gonna change the pattern a little bit. Keep your ankles hugging in. Slowly come up, straightening the legs. You can reach the arms overhead. Yay, keep the ankles hugging in, keep breathing. And then nice and easy, release the arms, release the heels, just coming back to stand. Okay, so for our next sequence here, if you like to have blocks for your hands for lunges, go ahead and set them up at the front. If you don't have them, you'll be okay. So from your mountain pose, press down into the soles of the feet. Inhale, arms up over your head. Exhale, down we go, forward fold. Come up halfway, move the chest forward, and then on the way down, step right leg back, setting up for your lunge, toes tucked under. Keep the back knee lifted if you can, and on the back leg, lift the inner thigh, draw the pelvis back, the chest forward. Now on the left foot, press down a little bit more into the heel to firm up kind of the whole back of the leg there. Now your choice here with arms. You could stay down with the arms and just become a little lighter, or take just the right arm back. If you did that, put it down and just the left arm back. Yeah. Let's try it again, forward, right arm forward. If that's too much, take it back or leave it down. And then left arm forward. Yeah, if that felt pretty good. Take right arm forward again, and then take left arm back at the same time. And without touching the floor, you'll slice and dice, change. Keep everything the same. Let's do 2 more changes. Great. Once both arms come down again, pause here. Just take a little break. If it feels good to bend and straighten the knee, you can do that. Yeah. Might as well add in a twist. Let's keep the knee bent, re-lengthen, and then turn to the left. Any way you want to do that, hand to hip, arm up, just to add in a little twist action. Come on down. Let's move the stuff out of the way. Go back to plank pose. And again, those of you with straight legs, can you find that position in the feet where the soles of the feet are straight up and down? Keep that just below the navel, lift up a little bit. This time when we come down, we'll do something a little different. So come on down to the belly. Scoot your legs back and down just to clear some extra room. Let's take the arms straight back alongside you. Lift the front of the shoulders away from the floor, and in doing so, the chest will lift a little bit, the upper back will lift a little bit. And then if you wish, you can lift the legs, draw back through the toes, and then you can lift the arms, the thumbs off the floor. And here we are in a back bend, Shalabhasana variation. All right, let's put the legs back down. Hands come just right by the chest. Press back, take child's pose for a sec with the toes tucked under. And give yourself a little wobble from side to side if that feels okay. I didn't forget the other side lunge. We're gonna do it later. Let's go back to down dog for a second. And then from the down dog, walk back again, hands to the back of the mat. Press down through the feet. Inhale, all the way up we come, lifting your arms. Exhale the arms down. Yeah. So let's stay at the back of the mat. I'm just facing you for the, because you can see me better. Take the arms down by your sides. Slowly go up, lifting the heels, lifting the arms. And then all at the same time, the heels come down and the arms come down. Yeah, do that a couple of times more. Great. Now next time we come up, we'll change it a little bit. So let's come up. Stay up on the heels, stay up in the arms, bend the knees, bring the hips back, coming into a variation of our chair pose. Yes, keep the ankles hugging in. And then put the heels down, let the arms come back, broaden the collarbones. Arms come forward, heels come up, but keep the knees bent. Do this a few times. So heels down, arms come back. You can lift the toes if you want. And then come forward and up with the arms, lift the heels. Great. One more time back. One more time forward. And then just come up to stand, release. Yeah, nice job. Shake it out. So we're going to work the calves a little, then we'll stretch the calves, and then we'll do some more balancing. So let's stay at the back of the mat. And you remember that march we just did. If you wish, when we do it again, you could lift up and down, lift the heel up and down. If that's not going to work, don't worry about it. Or if it's just like a quick up and down, that's okay too. All right, so pick a side, staying at the back of the mat. One leg comes in the arm, and then lift and lower, and step. Yeah. This is one situation where wearing high heels could help you out. Just practice like that. Yeah. All right, friends, and then just shake it out at the front of the mat. Yeah, no, I never, yeah, never ever. Those days are over. All right, here we come to the front of the mat. Also, if, we're going to do the lunge again. If you like blocks, just have them there. Root down through the legs. Inhale, we're up. Exhale, we're down, forward fold. Halfway up, we come lengthen. And then on the way down, left leg steps back. Let's just start in our lunge pose without any fancy arm work yet. On the back leg, lift the inner groin. Draw the pelvis back, draw the chest forward, create some length. Now on your front leg, press the heel into the floor and almost try to press it forward a little bit. You can either stay down with the hands or lighten the hands. Let's do one arm at a time back. So left one back and down. If that's no good, you just imagine doing it. Right arm back and down. Left arm forward. If that's no good, do back or skip it. And right arm forward. Yeah, if the forward felt fine. Let's go again, left arm forward and right arm back at the same time. And then we'll change. Let's do 2 more changes. And then after that, release, take a little break. You can bend and straighten if that feels good. And then with the knee bent, you can take a twist if that feels good, just any way you want to do it. Yeah. All right, let's come out of that. Move the blocks, go plank to the belly. We're not going to stay in plank. And then from your plank, let's do the leg scoochy back and just add in a quad stretch here. So you can bend the right knee, hold on to the foot or the ankle. Now you might remember when we were stretching the top of the foot, we did a couple different poses of that. For many of us, if the top of the foot is tight, the quad is also tight. It's the same line of connective tissue. And release and change sides. Now, you might also notice when you did the feet, one was tighter. See if it's the same side that's tighter when you do this. All right, and then release. Stay on the belly, just wiggle it out a little bit. And we'll take it back to downward facing dog. Once we get there, you decide if you want to be still or add in any kind of jigglies, wigglies, pedals, whatever you want to do. Yeah. All right, friends. When you're ready, we will come to the front of the mat, feet forward. Root down through the legs. Use the inhale to lift. Arms come up over your head. And we'll release the arms. Okay. So next we'll be using our roll. And if you guys at home, if you don't have the stuff, just roll up your yoga mat and we'll do all the rolled things together. So you don't have to keep rolling and unrolling. If you've got a blanket, go ahead and roll it up. Now, for what we're going to do first, sometimes rolling it up all the way is a little too thick. I'll show you what you're going to do and you can decide. So,
and could everybody at home please mute, please?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize it was,
Thank you.
Okay, you got it. Okay, you got it. All right, so here we are with our roll. Just watch first. So we'll stand on it. Oh, I can't. Maybe that's hard enough. And then you'll shift, so it's mostly the ball of the foot and the toes that are on the roll. And then like we did in some of the other ones, you'll lift and you'll lower. It's a little harder because the roll moves and you have more range of motion to go because you're elevated. So if the roll seems like it's a little thick, you could do a partial roll. So you decide. And then let's step up there. First, just figure it out. You could have your setup by a wall if you needed to be. Yeah, and then once you're in place, can you adjust so that it's the ball of the foot that's on the roll, the heels will hang back a little bit. Then slowly lower and lift. Oh, it's way easier. I just unrolled it. It's a lot easier that way. Yeah. Now notice, for many of us, the ankles want to flop apart. Try to hug the ankles in. It creates a little more stability when you do that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's core too, isn't it? Okay, and then go ahead, step off the roll. That was a lot of work for the calves. If you need to readjust your setup, do that. And then, let's see, I don't know the best way to face. I'll keep facing this direction. Now for this next bit here, let's have the blocks right in front. We won't use them right away. Stand off to the left side. So the left foot is on the floor. Right foot is up on the roll with the toes up there and the heel down. Now, if this is enough, if you're already getting a good stretch on the right side, just stay put. If you need more, you can step the left foot a little or a lot ahead. Yeah, all right. And now from your position here, just at first take a little hip shift right and left. Now the gastrocnemius, this part of the calf muscle group, at the bottom it has one attachment point, but at the top there are two heads to the muscle. And often we're tighter on one side than the other, so you might feel that as you're shifting. Now the next time you are right in the middle, let's pause there. Bend both knees, even though it's somewhat awkward on the right side, and start to slide the hands down the legs and stop just above the knees. You could turn your hands in. I find that it's a little more comfortable. And then from your position here, notice if the front of the right ankle is really tense and grippy. Can you relax the front of the ankle? And now shift both hands over to the right leg. And if it feels okay to slide a little below the knee, do. For now, the knee is still bent. And then slowly you'll start to lift the hips up and the legs will go a little straighter as you do. If holding onto the leg like that doesn't feel good, but you could grab one of the blocks or both of the blocks. Yeah, I am propping my left elbow on the left thigh. That prevents me from just going splat. You could take anything you need here. And like we did standing, take a tiny little right, left, side to side shift. Okay, and then to get out, let's bend the knees a little bit again. Start to walk the hands up. Up we come off the roll. Yeah, and then just take a little walk. You can walk a little bit. Notice the difference right and left side. Good, so we better do the second one. Let's come over to your roll. We'll start in the upright position. So the toes are up, the heels on the floor. If that's already enough for you, you stay. If you need extra, you walk the right foot forward. Yeah, like Bigfoot. Yeah. Right. And then once you're in position, shift a little bit from side to side. And then pause right in the middle. Let's bend both knees, bringing the hips back, and just start to slide the hands down the thighs and pause when you're just above the knees. Hands can turn in. For me, that's a little more comfortable. Yeah. And then let's start to take the right hand over to the left leg. Both hands can slide down, go below the knee or stay above. Just don't be right on the knee. And then from there, start to go straighter in the legs. Yeah. And who knows, this side might be a different situation. Feel free to prop the right elbow on the right leg, or you could use one or both hands on the blocks. Take a small little side to side shift again here. Okay, and then we'll settle. Let's bend the knees, bring yourself up to center. Come off the roll. Yep, take a little walk. We're gonna do one more, just take a second. Okay, and then we'll head back to our spot. Now, if you do have blocks, I'll recommend coming down first, hands on the blocks first, and then stepping up. It's a little easier. Both feet go on the roll, so the toes are up, the heels are down. Make sure the heels are indeed touching the floor. And then let's start again with a slight bend in the knees, even though it's a bit awkward. At the very top of the thighs, press apart, and you'll feel the knees widen. Let's counter that action by pressing down through the ball of the big toe and start to lift up through the back of the legs to just let the hips start to lift. And if it's feeling all right to go lower, you can get rid of the blocks, lower the blocks. If going lower is not an option and you need to go higher, you can stack the blocks. That's an option too. Yeah. Now we'll just be here for a bit. If you want to add in a little shift, you can. If you want to add in like a little twist, that's an option too. That might be interesting. All right, friends, whatever you've done, let's settle. Scooch the feet off the roll. Press down into the feet. Use the inhale to lift. All the way up we come. And release the arms. Yay. Take another little walk, just see how it feels. Okay, because our next thing will be very exciting. So here's the setup, and for those of you at home, if you have different props, that's okay. Let's take whatever your roll is and put it towards the back of your runway. And then 2 blocks, 1, 2, with a little gap between. Now, again, if you don't have the blocks, you could use books, you could use a pillow, just some sort, we're building an obstacle course, so some sort of obstacle. And then let's head all the way to the back of the roll. And remember this march we did? We're gonna do this on our obstacle course. So let's step the right foot up on the roll, and then calmly, you'll pick up the left knee and the right arm. That's it. And then the left foot will step down, and we'll change arms and legs. Now try not to look at the floor, just feel it with your foot as you land on your first block. And change. No. And then when we get to the end, pause. Don't come off. Because now we get to go backwards. Oh, nuts. Now here, don't look down. Try to feel it. The hardest part for me is the roll. Yay. And now go ahead and do step off. Oh, I don't feel relief. Yeah, great. Now we spent all this time setting it up. We got to do it again, make it worth it. So let's do the other leg first. That'll be left leg down, right leg up, I think. Yeah? Okay, if not, do the other. And then we come up and we change. Now, when we go backwards, think about this. Of course, we're almost done, so you don't have time to change it. But if you've done this before, if this is feeling really easy, next time you do it blindfolded. Oh, yogis. Well done. It was easier the second time around? Yeah, good. Your body, it trained itself. It learned how to do it. All right, nice work. So go ahead, let's undo your obstacle course. If you were using your mat, you can reset it so it's back to your yoga mat normal setup again. All right, let's take another palate cleansing sort of vinyasa. Root down through the feet. Inhale up with the arms. Exhale, we're down, forward fold. Halfway, we lengthen. On the way down, back to plank pose, and we won't stay, so we'll take it plank to the belly. Any kind of cobra, we'll just do one. And then back we go to downward facing dog. Yeah. Now from your down dog, let's stay here. Bring your feet closer together at the back of the mat. And then try not to turn your pelvis one way or the other as you pick up the right knee, or the right foot, and bend the knee. Create a little squeeze in the back of the leg. And then still without moving the pelvis, lift the knee towards the ceiling. And how far you go is individual. Now, still without moving the pelvis, keep the thigh in place and press the right heel outward towards the back of the room. Yeah. And then we'll step the right foot down. Do the same on the left side. So first bend the knee. Don't let the pelvis twist or turn. Little squeeze in the back of the leg, and then start to lift the knee more towards the ceiling. Without turning the pelvis, let the leg start to go straight, reach outward through the heel. Yeah. And then let's put the foot down. Come to the front of the mat, feet to the hands. Root down to rise up, inhale. Release. Okay. So when we do, I'm thinking warrior 3 and some of the other poses with the leg back, the pelvis wants to turn open, but we want to try to keep it in line. So let's try it out. Take the hands to the hips. Step the right leg back. Go to warrior 1. Now I just said that. In warrior 1, the pelvis will turn a little. That's okay. Let that happen. Bend the front knee. Take the arms up. Yeah. And now from here, you'll do a little slice action with the arms. They'll come forward and down alongside you. Shift forward onto the left leg, and then the right leg will pivot and try to turn the leg more forward rather than turned out. Yeah. And then from here, let the right leg lift. And here we are in a variation of warrior 3. Go ahead and let's flex the foot. Press out through the heel. And if this is feeling okay and you want to add on, take just the right arm straight ahead. And then we're going to change the arms. So the left one goes forward, the right one goes back. Let's do that 2 more times. Great. And then when you're done, back to warrior 1 we go. Both arms lift. And just step forward. Ha! Yeah, move around a little bit. Now, I should have said this. If the arm thing isn't working out and you need a little more stability, you could try this version on the next round with the hands pressing on the thighs, and that creates a little more stability. So feel free to do that if you like. Let's go to side 2. Left leg steps back, heel comes down. Pelvis is at first a little turned, and then up we come to warrior 1 pose. Yeah, now at first we'll take the arms, let's come forward and then down. Shift forward, pivot on the back leg so the leg doesn't rotate out anymore. And then from here, you'll launch into your warrior 3. Of course, feel free to have the arms on the leg if you need. If you're adding on, take the left arm forward and then change, slice and dice. Let's take 2 more changes. Yeah. And then bend the right knee, glide back and up, warrior 1 pose. Step the foot forward, release. Okay, yogis, just move around for a second. Let's take hula hoop asana. And another direction, hula hoop asana. Yeah. Pause here, take your feet just wider than you normally stand. Bend the knees, bring the hips back and rest the arms on the legs. Move the inner groins back as you move the chest forward, and then just a twist. Let's open up to the right side. And down. And then to the left side. And down. 1 more round on each direction. All right, press into both feet here. Use the inhale to rise. Exhale to bring the arms down. Yay. All right, so let's come down onto the mat and we'll sit. We'll do a little bit of core work from the seated position. If you are sitting on a blanket, that's fine, but don't go too high for these because we'll come back and you don't want to lose your balance. All right, so let's start with the legs just straight, Dandasana. Press down through the hands and press out through the soles of the feet. Sit up really tall. If you need to keep the hands down for support, do, but if you're able to lift the arms and you don't collapse, do that, and then just pretend you're reaching for something up there. Yeah, and that'll put a little more energy in the arms. Now, if you're adding on, take the arms forward. Go ahead and let the back round as you come halfway down to the floor, and then we'll stay. Pick up just the right leg. and set it down. And the left leg. It's very Frankenstein, just so you wait. Pick up the right leg again, turn to the right, and then rattle your chains. And then down to the other side, up and over. It also makes it more fun. Let's come to the right side again, a little different. Turn, and then bend the elbows and pull the hands towards you. Pull, and then undo. Other side, turn, and pull. Yes. And center, just come up to sit. Relax. I know, in my Halloween mask. I don't know if you guys can see that far, but I've got my spooky mask on. All right. Can we go again? Yeah, okay, I thought so. So, little different this time. Go ahead, let's start with the arms forward and do that rounding in the back about halfway down to the floor. You might have to adjust the legs a little bit. Now, from here, don't twist. Take your right arm wide and center. Take the left arm wide and center. Now take the right arm up. Oh, stay there. If you can, lift the left leg. Leg comes down, arm comes to center. Left arm lifts. If you can, lift the right leg. Leg comes down, arm comes to center, sit. Yeah. Okay. I got a lot of pizza in there, so. All right, just jiggle out the legs. We'll take one more time, and feel free to skip it if it's a no-go. We're gonna come slowly all the way down onto your back. And let's go ahead and do this mummy style. Yeah, why not? All right, so nice and slow, nice and slow. Now, if you start to lose it, just put the hands down. But if you're still going slow, draw the navel back towards the spine. And I can hardly talk here. You'll come like you don't just go splat, like really keep going slow, slow, slow. Till eventually you'll get there. And then once you're down, we're down. Oh, all right. Yeah, just go, now go splat. Take the feet, bend the knees, and bring your feet about as wide as the mat. Let's drop the knees over to the right side. And then come up and drop the knees over to the left side. Now you can do that just back and forth. You could speed it up, slow it down, or you could join me over on the right side again. Options for the right foot, you could stack the foot kind of on the outside of the thigh close to the knee, just to weigh it down. You could place the sole of the foot at the kind of the front of the quad close to the knee and press foot and leg into each other. If you know a different version of this, you could take that too. And then let's unwind, go to the left side. And then those two options here, you could put the foot outside of the thigh to weigh it down. You could stand the sole of the foot right at the quad and press foot and leg. Kind of like you're standing on the leg. Yeah. And then let's undo, come back to center. Just a reset after those. Take the hands on the legs and close to the hip crease and press straight ahead, hands into the legs. Yeah. Now a few options here, just to do a couple symmetrical poses. Some options, you could do bridge, little or big, any kind of bridge is fine. If you wanted to do more hip flexion, you could bring the knees in and or take the feet up, happy baby. With either of those, maybe a little rock feels good. Yeah. And then, oh, I found a good spot in there. When you're ready to come out, let's come back to center. We'll do a few twists. Lift the hips, but not high, and scooch them towards the left side of the mat and down. Then you'll bring the knees towards your chest and over to the right side and down, coming into a twist. Now, for me, this never feels good on my back, so I like to put a block in between the knees. You could do that, or if you don't have a block, you could take your right hand just under the left knee and let that be like a little kickstand. And then we'll head to center, and let's adjust so the hips now go towards the right side of the mat. Knees come up and then over to the left side. So coming to the second side. And then from here, bring yourself back up to center. Let's reset the pelvis that's right in the middle and do another round of the press. So pressing the hands into the thighs. Yeah. And from here, we will head into Shavasana. If there's any other something that you feel you need to do first, do it. I'm going to get the light switch here. And if you need to set up any differently for Shavasana, you can. As you begin to settle into this final shape. Notice the way the body contacts the support underneath you. Can you allow yourself to drop a little bit more? And allow the support system under you to hold you. Relax through the belly, and the tops of the thighs. Imagine your back widening, the back of the pelvis widening, the back of your head widening. Begin to deepen your breath. And start to take some movement back into your body. And whenever you're ready, let your knees bend, roll over to one side. And from there, take your time to come up to sit. We'll meet with hands at heart center. Thank your body for everything that it's able to do. Thank yourself for showing up. Namaste.